In this video, I will demonstrate how to use the IFS function to determine student progress based on the student's average score using this scale over here as a reference. To get started, I click in cell G2. I'm on the Formulas tab. I'm going to the Logical button, and I'm going to select IFS. For my first logical test, I need to look at the student's average score to determine if it's greater than or equal to 90%. So I'm going to type in 90% here. So anything above 90% needs to return this value if it's true, which is excellent. And I need to make that absolute because I plan to copy this down. So I need that to be a constant. For the second logical test, I'm going to look at the student's average score and look to see if it's greater than or equal to 80%. So I'm going to type in 80% here. And the value, if that is true, is above average. I need to make that absolute. And the third logical test is going to look at the student's average score to see if it's greater than or equal to 70%. And if that is true, the student will receive an average score here. And I need to make that absolute. I need to scroll down so that I can see the fourth logical test. And in my fourth logical test, I'm going to see if the student's average score is greater than or equal to 60%. And if it is, the value, if true, would be below average. And I need to make that absolute. For the fifth logical test, I'm going to click on the student's average score. I'll do a less than symbol, equal to 59%. And if logical test 5 is true, then the value, if true, should read poor. And I'm going to go ahead and make an absolute reference to that and click OK. And the great thing about this is that I am referencing this range over here. So if I decide to change my scale at all I have to do is type over what's in there, and then this range would update based on what I typed in. And let's take a look. So 80% should be above average, 97 excellent, 64% says below average, excellent, below average, and so on. Anything underneath 59% would need to say poor. So this worked as it should. And just a reminder that when you're working with IFS functions, if the first logical test is true, Excel won't even need to look at logical test 2, 3, and 4, and 5. If it's false, then it looks down at logical test 2. So by simply putting in the 90%, it looks at anything above 90% or equal to 90%. If this were false and this logical test needed to be performed, logical test 2 would look to see if the value is above 80% or equal to 80%, but it wouldn't look to see if it's 90% or above because this has already been determined false. And so Excel will continue to work through the logical tests until it reaches a true. Now, say you hadn't performed this formula right here. You just simply had the scores listed, but you didn't have the average calculated here. What you could do is you could create an if statement with a formula calculating the average score and then determine the progress. So let's see what that one looks like. So I'm going to begin in H2. I'm on the Formulas tab, Logical Group, IFS, and in the logical test, I'm going to do a formula. I'm going to type average, left parenthesis, this range, right parenthesis, and then I'll do my greater than, equal to 90%. Value, if true, would be excellent, and I'm going to make it absolute. And since I'm going to be using this portion over and over, I'm just going to copy that and paste it here so that all I have to do is type in 80% and then click above average, make it absolute. I'm going to copy that in, 70%, and anything above 70 would be average, make that absolute. And for logical test 4, I'll paste that in and type in 60%. And 60% would be below average. Need to make that absolute. So remember, for this one, we need to do less than equal to 59%. And the value, if true, would be poor, and we'll make an absolute reference to that. And click OK. And now I'll autofill that down. And as you can see, the same results. So it's pretty cool that you can perform calculations within if statements. And that's it. That's how you perform a calculation within an if statement.